me. You better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me, and he gets claws real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score, never getting bored. Loves of blood and gore, always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really understand until they feel the force of blood. And if you start shit, you'll be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped, you'll be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. There's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They're deceived with the next.
Hey guys, Alex here from Computer Headquarters, and today I'm going to be bringing you a build guide for Path of Exile's 3.25 Phrecia event. Hopefully a lot of you guys are still playing this, almost feeling like it's a 3.26 for us since it's been so long since the original 3.25 sellers came out. That's how I'm viewing it, at least. In any case, the build guide today is loosely based on my Tri-Charge Stacker Slayer that I did in 3.25. I made a lot of videos about that. I've made a lot of videos this league about that character as well, or about this character, so to say. And I feel like I finally got it to a place where I'm mostly done and I can make a build guide that's kind of like a go ahead and try playing this if you can afford it, so to say. So yeah, in any case, let's jump into a very well crafted PowerPoint that I've made. Before we jump into this PowerPoint, I do want to mention that I am by no means an expert in Path of Exile. I've played for about 2 years, as I mentioned, but I still consider myself pretty intermediate or even low end. I feel like I'm just constantly always learning something new or forgetting something that I did learn before, but I already forgot. There's just a lot going on, right? So if you guys are seeing this build and you're interested in it, and then you see some things that you think maybe I could have done better, change this on your tree, you could have tried this item. Did you think about that? Let's talk about it in the comments. Please reach out. Constructive criticism is fantastic. So in any case, we are playing the charge stacking Frenzy of Onslaught Scavenger. And so we are stacking power charges and frenzy charges, but unfortunately we're not really stacking endurance charges this time around because we lost Masterful Form that we are getting from the Duelist Slayer Ascendancy. That being said, what we did gain for trying to make up for the endurance charges we lost for tankiness wise, especially physical tankiness, we now are able to take Cloak of Flame through our Ascendancy to get 40% of physical damage taken as fire. Is this as good as endurance charges? Not even close, unfortunately, but it's just the best we got. Moving on here, something that we're doing that was kind of a fun thing to try out based on the Scavenger Ascendancy that we're going with was making our strength equal our intelligence, and then also making sure that our dex is lower than our strength or int. So that wasn't necessarily super easy to do, but some stars kind of aligned, and one of the Elegant Hubrises that I had purchased at one point had the Caspiro influence, I think it's called, on it, and that allows you to have Supreme Ostentation, which means ignore attribute requirements. And that ended up kind of being a blessing in disguise, because then we were able to let our intelligence and strength be really low and equal, and our dexterity be extremely, extremely low and less than. And by doing all this stuff, we were able to match or squeeze in Leadership's Price, which gives us Scorch, Brittle, and Sap. as long as your two highest attributes are equal, which was the strength and int. Unfortunately, then now we cannot ignite, chill, freeze, or shock. That ends up being, it's a good trade-off where we like the trade-off. And then we're also fitting in rational doctrine with that synergy, if you want to call it synergy. So now we're getting consecrated ground for crazy regen and other things. And then we're also creating profane ground, which is also great. So this is working with the strength and int thing I just said. So if that sounds confusing, I would recommend reading more into this stuff because I don't want to spend too much time on any one thing. About this build, I made a little Venn diagram thingy-mabobber here. And this is kind of like the three things that people are looking for in PoE, in my opinion. They're looking for tankiness, they're looking for big damage, and they're looking for big clear. And this build is fitting in between tanky and big damage. It's not really big clear. We'll talk about clear again in a little bit because that seems to always be on people's minds. But honestly, there aren't too many builds in this entire game that are going to fit here in this yellow zone. Maybe Fubgun's Lightning Slayer he's playing right now. That one, maybe you'd consider that to be right there in the middle. I think probably. I would say maybe Big Daddy's Armor Stacker with Smite that he's been playing that might fit in here too. But as far as speed goes, speed's kind of part of Big Clear, right? So I don't really know if his guy's fast. Anyway, let's keep moving here. So what kind of content are you expecting to play? And the funny thing when you think about this is people don't usually say it this way, but it's like, what kind of job do you want to do? Is your exile going to be taking out trash? Is he a lawyer? Is he a doctor? Is he a professional baseball player? These are like, the funny thing is these things are like jobs. When people talk about this, it really just says, how do you make money, right? So the biggest thing is Valdos maps, which I've talked about quite a bit in the videos I've made leading up to this for this particular character, but that's how I made most of my money to keep increasing the power of this character. But also Ubers and Pinnacle bosses are great, especially to say Uber Sirus and Uber Cortex are pretty cheap and very doable, and I've made a lot of good money in particular doing Uber Cortex and getting rational doctrines. This is very T17 viable. Doesn't mean you're going to be the fast clear T17, but you're not going to be dying. Juiced Rogue Exile is definitely great for Juiced Rogue Exiles. Simulacrum, really good one as well. Deep Delve, Harbinger, Abyss XP. If you're just trying to level up really fast, Abyss XP is great. I can do T17, Juiced Abyss, and even put like Wildwood stuff onto the boss at the end, and it's no big deal. If you're trying to farm really hard essence stuff where you're putting all the essences on the map boss at the end, this can do that. Blight, sure, because Blight is just, if you could actually fight with your towers, basically, without dying. Boss div card, where you juice the end boss and all the div cards get duplicated, this can do that. And then just anything with lots of juice in general. So putting Wildwood onto things, throwing Delirium in there, juicing things with lots of scarabs that make the map more difficult. These are all easy with this build. And Ultimatum is great too because you're immune to a bunch of different ailments and things like that. So a lot of the ultimatum things that say you're going to get hit with Corrupted Blood or Fire Skull or whatever thing, it's not going to hurt you too much. So things that are not bad or good, just kind of in the middle. Harvest, boss rushing because you're slow. Not super slow, but slow enough to make it not as viable. Beyond kind of just sucks because you just don't get that much out of it. I know some people like Beyond. I really don't. Ritual, it's kind of in the middle because like you're not going to be clearing it, but you're also not dying. So because obviously when you die in Ritual, you lose a lot of the points. So it's kind of, it's whatever. But perfect examples of things that this is not good for. Legion, terrible for Legion because you're too slow and you're not doing big clear. Breach, similar idea. You can still breach for XP, but it's just, it's not the best because you're not super fast clear guy. Fast mapping, big clear, heist, you're a little bit slow for heist. Boss rushing, oh, sorry, I had that on there twice, my bad. Settlers, just generating tons of gold, probably not usually you want to be fast for that. Incursion, same things, you're too slow. Beast, you're too slow. Betrayal, you're too slow. Expedition, you can turn Expedition the difficulty down with different idols or whatever now, so it just isn't really the best for that either. And then Lab, of course, because you're too slow. So obviously I've said too slow a bunch, and that is a theme, right? It's not like I'm not just saying that it's really slow, it's just not as fast as other things that are especially like lightning warping all over the map or flicker striking all over the map. I just want to shout out a couple of my buddies here that watch my videos. So Dave, of course, I almost mention him in every video because he's helping me with pretty much every video, every character I've ever built. He's the one that taught me how to play the game. And, every day I think I've asked him on average 10 questions per day about Path of Exile. Danny, same thing. He's always answering questions for me. My buddy Nate, my buddy Ted, my kids actually watch my videos sometimes too. Just wanted to say what's up to everyone. Budget. So my current build is pretty expensive in my opinion. Everyone has a different view of what's expensive based on how they play and the amount of currency that they've generated in the past. I totaled up my gear today and it was about 1,000 divine. That's a lot to me. I think that mirrors are like 500 or 700 divine right now. So this is apparently over a mirror. That being said, you don't need to have all of this gear to make it feel good and to make it work. This is just where I am at the moment, where I'm kind of saying I'm pretty much done with the character. And I was at a million lower levels than I am right now before I got here. So keep that in mind, right? So this is league start viable. I've made a few videos about that, just not with this power level. And I've argued with some people that were kind of telling me my build sucks and all that kind of stuff about it's too expensive and you can never play. Like, no, they're wrong. You can use a Graven Secret. There's all these things you can do that are cheap, things you can wear that are cheap, and the build will still be good. It's just not going to be as good. You could still do Valdos maps, just not hard Valdos maps. So I want to just mention that kind of thing. And then like most builds, the more you invest, the better the build feels, right? That's kind of obvious. And at around 10 charges, you can start generating a lot of income doing Valdos, even without a Mage Blood, like I said, with the Graven Secret. One thing I actually forgot to put into this guide that I'm thinking about right now is it's Valdos map related. So I guess it would be content. Let's kind of go backwards to content. And in fact, we'll just do it like this, guys. We're going to throw a new slide because I'm not doing slideshow right now because of the way that OBS is going. Valdos related. We're going to do this on the fly. Feared. Yes. 100% Deli. Feared. Yes. Tormented. If I could spell tormented. Feared. Yes. 100% Deli. Plus tormented. Feared. Not really. So that is the level that I've done tons of feared maps. I've done tons of 100% Deli feared maps. I've done a bunch of tormented feared maps, especially 1 to 2 are easy. 3 to 4 gets a little bit harder, but very doable still. But once you have 100% Deli and tormented feared at the same time, that's when things start to get a little bit out of hand. I had a map I did last night that was like that, and I did get Uber Adziri and Uber Cortex and Uber Eldar all killed, and was left with Uber Shaper, Uber Chayula. But unfortunately, the map also had Sirus deatomization storms, and when I jumped away from a Shaper beam and Shaper balls or something like that to try to jump away into another corner, I ended up landing in a Sirus deatomization storm. So then, and to be honest with you, I don't know if that would have killed me, but I kind of panicked and wanted to leave. And when I jumped away from there, I landed right into Shaper balls and died. And that was my last portal. So I would just say it's possible, especially if you're a much better player than me, which is not hard to be, then maybe you could do 100% Deli and Tormented Feared. But anyway, let's keep moving with the plan. Gear and gems. Okay, let's jump into the game and take a look at these. All right, let's start with the gear. And I'm not going to talk about every piece and all the little intricacies of every piece of gear because you can go look at that on POE and I'll just make the video a little bit too long a lot longer than it needs to be, right? So, of course, we have an ephemeral edge, fortify and hit, and some extra attack speed. We have a Crown of Thorns with +1 power charge. We have a Malachi's Loop. Nothing really worth talking about other than the ES on it. We have a chest piece that I crafted with as high ES as possible. This is the best one I could afford at the time, and I did craft this myself. The strength at the bottom is just a band-aid so that our 70 strength equals our 70 int. We have a Precursor's Emblem. This thing is amazingly sick, and my buddy actually crafted this himself with the Precursor pieces, putting them together. So that was very awesome of Dave, and I'm actually borrowing it from him right now instead of the one that I was using before. He is loaning it to me for the video, but this is the one I was using before that is actually my own. This is a loan out, rental, whatever you want to call it for the video. Of course, a Calandra's Touch. I just got this Badge of the Brotherhood. I think it was yesterday, or it was 2 days ago. And so this is a pretty huge upgrade, having the additional Curse, and then Tranquility Anointed. And then we have Warlock Gloves that are just basically high ES and tons of accuracy and attack speed. We have a Mage Blood and a Relicash Boots. Flasks. We're using a Prismatic Tincture with as much elemental damage in pen as possible. A Silver Flask, a Sapphire, Topaz, and Ruby, all of them with the increased effect as high as possible for the Mage Blood to give us all of our resistances and max resistances. And then we're also getting a bunch of immunities on the flasks as well. So as far as the skill gems go, we're using a Leap Slam with faster attacks, and we also have a Sigil of Power that we're using. We're stationary quite a bit, so that works great. Cast and damage taken linked with Conductivity, Wave of Conviction, and Summon Lightning Golem. You could self-cast Summon Lightning Golem as well, but he's just annoying, and based on what I already have in my bar, I just decided to throw him into the cast when damage taken. In my shield here, I have Mark on Hit Support with Assassin's Mark, and Frost Shield is just happens to be, it doesn't need to be linked, but similar to the Leap Slam, that's where it ended up. Okay, let's do the six link last. So we'll do our Enlightened support linked with Tempest Shield, Discipline, and Arctic Armor. And don't really need the... Oh, sorry, my buddy's in Discord. I'm going to let him know that it's recording a video real quick. So, let's see. And then the Enlightened, you don't really need it, but it's just nice to have a little bit more mana, right? So, Phase Run is something that doesn't need to be in the build. It's just nice to have. I didn't use this ever before. I've just been using it for a little bit of burst of speed in between packs and stuff, especially Uber Cortex. And I guess you get a little bit of melee damage as well and some phasing stuff, but it could be removed if it doesn't need to be here. But over here we have Immortal Call with Inspiration support and more duration support, and I am self-casting this. You could do this with this cast on damage taken. I've done that in the past, but the things that I'm playing now, I'm actually self-casting and I prefer it that way. And then our 6 link, we've got, of course, Frenzy of Onslaught, and we have that with multi-strike support, power charge and crit support, volatility support, increased critical damage support, and inspiration support. All right, that was all of our skill gems. All right, let's talk about the tree. We're going to start with the Scavenger Ascendancy. So obviously we're taking Cloak of Flame. I've already said that multiple times. We're taking Void Battery, which I haven't mentioned yet, so we're getting an extra power charge, which is, not, of course, feeding us another Frenzy charge because of Badge of the Brotherhood. And then we're also getting spell damage per power charge, which is great because we're using Crown of Eyes. So that goes together very well. And then we're taking Leadership's Price, which, again, we've already spoken about that. So let's move on to the next part, Large Notables. Wow, these are really jammed in here, aren't they? Think that it would look better. Oh, no. Okay. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so Supreme Ostentation. We've talked about that, but no attribute requirements. Ghost Reaver, Chaos Inoculation, and Zealot's Oath. And now we're going to move on to jewels. We have a ton of jewels. So we have Immutable Force. We have Rational Doctrine. We have Sublime Vision with Discipline. Thread of Hope, massive. We have Light of Meaning, Energy Shield. Unnatural Instinct, Watcher's Eye, with 3 different discipline mods. Impossible Escape, Balanced Guard. And we have 2 split personalities right now with Energy Shield and Accuracy. And then finally we have the Elegant Hubris we've mentioned a couple times, Caspiro with 57,860. Now, I do want to show you guys a couple little things here that I don't have here on my PowerPoint, so we are going to switch back to in-game. We're going to open up our tree, and it is kind of a wild-looking tree with all these circles everywhere, but why we're taking Thread of Hope is so that we can take this Trial of the Faith, and we'll talk about that again in a little bit, but that's pretty much the whole reason why we're doing this. So we're also taking Immutable Force for the same reason, because they work together as a team to give a ton of regen. Another thing that's probably a little bit weird is how crazy my pathing is, like all the way over to here and all the way over to here. And it does all make sense. It might not look like it makes sense. You might be thinking, what the heck are you doing? But it does work out. I mean, you're, like I said earlier, you're welcome to try to give me some tips on this, but I was originally not pathing down to take this power charge, and I was taking this as an anoint. But Tranquility is super strong as an anoint. So by getting this, it did work out as a net gain. And because I was now going this direction, there's a bunch of reasons why, but let's just stick with that. Now, another thing people might want to be hearing a little bit more about is this stuff going right here, right? So we have an Unnatural Instinct right here, which says that anything that you're not allocating is going to be allocated, right? So we're purposely going for projectile damage side because we don't need projectile damage. But all these points, we're getting all of it, which is awesome. Now, also, because we have our Light of Meaning right here, all of these points that are overlapping in this section that are not allocated are also giving us 3% max energy shield. So these 2 jewels are working together beautifully as a team. And then just to mention the Impossible Escape, which I think is right here, it's going to Imbalance Guard. And in Imbalance Guard, we're getting some max res with these 2 points right here. We're getting a bunch of accuracy. And then we're also getting Rage on Hit, which is, we really need that. It's a ton of damage to get Rage on Hit. Just to mention this as well, I'm going to be trying out doing a Rage on Hit flash or tincture and switching that with this. It'll be less damage on POB, but it might just feel a lot better because to ramp 1 Rage on Hit, it takes 15 seconds, I believe, to get to 30. Whereas if I'm getting 5 Rage on Hit on a tincture, it'll take 3 seconds. And that's a huge difference. So even though the max total damage might be lower, it might feel better. All right, let's go back to the PowerPoint and we're going to take a look at our cluster jewels. So we have 2 cluster jewels. These are both awesome, about as good as they get for what we need. They are both based on increased damage with hits and ailments with sword, and you could also have one with damage while holding a shield is fine as well. But they both have 12 to ES, they both have 35% increased effect, and they both have 3% increased attack speed. One of them has max, not max, sorry, but just all elemental resistances, and the other one has regen. And so those are working really well. And because, if we go back to the game, because this cluster jewel is so far away from our start point, sorry, let me close that. This one, the further away you are, the more you get from split personality. So that's why I have the split personalities over here. So this one in particular is the furthest from our start point, all the way here, pathing all the way around. And so we are getting a ton of ES and accuracy right here from these. So 440 accuracy and 55 ES. That's pretty good. Okay, back to our PowerPoint. And we are now talking about offense. So sources of damage. We have our main damage dealing ability skill, obviously Frenzy of Onslaught. We have 13 power charges and 13 frenzy charges. We have gobs of power from Elegant Hubris, which I'll just demonstrate a little bit of that real quick. All of these notables in here that, are giving us crazy stuff. So energy shield per power charge. Energy shield is damage for us because of ephemeral edge. So these are amazing. We have damage per power charge, 10% per power charge. That's crazy, right? Another one of those, but frenzy, which is the same thing for us. More energy shield, damage per power charge again, and another energy shield. So this is just like insane amounts of power. Okay, back to our PowerPoint. We have 2 curses. We're doing Assassin's Mark and Conductivity. There's a world where maybe I would take Assassin's Mark off and use an elemental weakness with Conductivity, but I just kind of like how this is feeling at the moment, and either one of them is going to be great. Okay, Wave of Conviction is giving me lightning exposure. We have that cast on damage taken. Sigil of Power, I'm often stationary, so throwing down a circle Sigil of Power is great. Doing Ubers, bosses, stuff like that. Lightning Golem, he bothers me, but it's nice to have. It's more, honestly, like a POB, like make number go higher thing, but he does, I have him on cast when damage taken, so he does pop out pretty often, but he also dies pretty easily, so I'm not spec'd into minion. Okay, I have Rage, Focus, Attack Speed, Onslaught, Profane Ground, Scorch Brittle, that are all giving me extra damage, and then my Prismatic Tincture gives me like 35% increased damage. Is nuts. All right. Play styles. So 3 different play styles, really. Like the bossing setup is basically what the POB damage is going to be, that I'll link you guys. So that's just like big number type of thing, and that's for, you're fighting, Sirus, you're fighting Uber Cortex, 2 guys, maybe you're the Fear, 5 guys at once, that kind of thing. But it's just smaller quantities of really strong dudes, right? But then what about clear? I've had a lot of people commenting on my other videos I've made and asking about clear. How do you get clear? Well, Aureus End is a really great thing you can do. You can take your tincture off and go Aureus End, and then things explode all over the screen, right? So that's awesome. Awaken Melee Splash can also replace volatility, and an Ancestral Call can replace increased critical damage support. And then I'm going to do a demo with this real quick for you guys, but I just want to mention this. Leap Slam does slap. It does about 5 million damage with this setup. Pretty much anything you could throw on that's an attack will do pretty good damage based on, even if it's not a 6-link. So yeah, 5 million damage. A lot of times, depending on what type of content you're playing, you might just jump on a pack and they all die, especially with Aureus End going. So yeah, don't forget about your Leap Slam. All right, we're gonna go back into the game real quick, and I'm gonna open a Uber Cortex, and we're gonna take off our tincture. We're gonna put Aureus End on. We're gonna do like full blown clear. Like sometimes I swap these things out a little bit depending on maybe I just want Aureus End, maybe I want just one skill gem, or sometimes I want all of it at once depending on what kind of content it is, like Abyss XP and stuff like that. So this is really, really nice, I think, clear for this type of, you're doing an attack, the stuff just pops, right? And you can go pretty fast if you want to. I think that a lot of the people that were really concerned about clear, now that they're seeing me doing this ability this way, and see, this isn't like weak content, this is Uber Cortex. So these mobs are not like pushover mobs, right? And I forgot to use my phase run, but I can make it to the portal pretty quickly and get a lot of XP and a lot of gold off of these guys. And yeah, I think the clear is pretty good. Hopefully that was a good demonstration for you guys. We're gonna go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, offense. Let's see, we just did play styles. We are on damage. So the damage is pretty crazy, in my opinion. Everyone's got a different view of what a lot of damage is. So currently in POB, if the enemy is not a boss, It's just a regular mob, 243 million damage per second on average. If the enemy is a standard boss, 200 million. If the enemy is a Guardian Pinnacle, 189 million. And if it's an Uber, 57 million. Obviously, gigantic drop off going to Uber, but still really good numbers. All right, let's talk about defense. And actually, sorry, the thing that I forgot to write on my PowerPoint, but I wanted to do in game is let's do a Uber Cortex boss with the clear setup, and then let's switch those things over real quick and show you how much more damage it does with like the tincture and all of the skill gems set up correctly. So, gotta activate him. Let's go Venarius. So this is the low damage version right now because everything is for like clear. And so if you're really lazy and you don't want to swap all your stuff out, this is not bad. But, so there's like 4 different, you could say 5 phases of Uber Cortex. That one I just did. This next one I would call phase 2. The third one's like a middle phase where you are fighting mobs, like ads. And then the second phase and the 5th phase, they sometimes will like grab you with like a claw from the ground. All right, so we're gonna do this clear, and then we're gonna swap in the tincture and the bigger single target skill gems into the 6th link. We'll wait until all these ads are dead, because might as well use the clear stuff while we're fighting them. But with my gloves having the non-vol skill strike 2 additional targets, you really don't need even this clear stuff for like, this isn't a lot of mobs. So you just really swap over to that right now. Okay, so we're gonna put the tincture in, we're gonna put this in, and we'll let them hit me a little bit just to show you guys how crazy my regen is. I'm like standing in a degen right now, by the way, and this is how crazy my regen is. All right, now we kill them. That was how fast they die. Did you see it? They gone. Obviously there's a cooldown on focus and a tincture, so sometimes that's how fast they die. All right. Well, sorry, I was gonna go back to PowerPoint, but I know everyone wants to see if a Rational Doctrine drops, so I'll let you guys see that. Don't want to snake you on the Rational Doctrine if it drops. I think I've seen 8 in the past week. Nope. All right, so back to PowerPoint. Defense time. So we do not have evasion, armor, dodge, or suppress, which is a lot of tanky builds. You stack those type of things, or have 100% suppress, for instance. We do not try even a little bit to do any of those things. We do have a 32% block chance. We have a 34% spell block chance. We're using Cloak of Flame to convert Fizz to Fire. We've talked about like 12 times now. We have about 89% resist all, and we have Chaos immunity with Chaos inoculation. We do actually have 90% lightning, but that's fine. And if I got my fire up to 90%, that would help a little bit, but it's just not that big of a deal. And I could very easily if I wanted to, but we're curse immune, we're all ailments immune, we are bleed immune, we're poison immune, we're pretty much everything immune. We are not stun immune by nature on purpose because we want to get stunned. We just want the stuns to be very tiny. Let's see, I'll talk about that again in a second. We are using Immortal Call and Frost Shield as manual ways to mitigate a lot of damage. Here's our damage pool or hit pool. When we're using both Immortal Call and Frost Shield, you can see our Fizz is up to 312 and our Elemental is, can average out around 600. So pretty tanky. And then when we have those things both off at the same time, our hit pool is quite a bit less, with our Fizz max hit being close to about 100k and our Elemental being about 300k. So still really, really tanky, good for feared and all those things. Like even an Uber Shaper Slam is not going to one-shot even close. All right, next up, defenses continued. Regen, Uber Cortex demo. Let's go back to it. So let's show what it's like to get hit by a bunch of mobs at once. I'm purposely not leap slamming because I don't want them to die. So here we go. So this is me being surrounded by a bunch of mobs, and this is my life. I think I need to remind people again that these aren't just like pushover mobs. This is Uber Cortex, and they're all dying so much because of all my cast on damage taken stuff, but let's let more of them beat me up. It's just instantly regen. And a lot of that is because of how crazy Immutable Force and the Start of Hope work together with the stun, because this stacks. So we'll talk about that again in a second. I could literally just be AFK right here, but the funny thing is this stuff's all going to die. Oh, you know what? While I'm doing this, I want to show you guys Leap Slam. I'm not going to attack, I'm only going to Leap Slam. So you can see stuff is actually dying from Leap Slam. And oh, you know what? I don't have my Explosion Flask on. Let's put that on too. Put that on, Explosion Flask. So now we're gonna get some explosions off of Leap Slam. Okay, this doesn't look that great, does it? It's not terrible, but it's not that great. But when you're playing a map with, you know, weaker mobs, they will be popping off of your Leap Slam. So, okay, I'm gonna go back to town now. Back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so we talked about Trial of Faith, which is that thing I was just saying. You know, you get, so I already have about 4,500 ES regen naturally, just normal. But I also have this 10% stacking thing that is coming from Trial of the Faith. So it says 5% of energy shield over 1 second when stunned. Regen, of course, and then same with life. But because I have Zealot's Oath, it actually, what this really translates to is 10% energy shield over 1 second when stunned. And if I get stunned over and over again, which I do get stunned all the time because I have no stun immunity, then I'm just it's getting stacked over and over and over, and my regen gets crazier and crazier and crazier. And it's even better because I have a Watcher's Eye that says, and we'll go back, I didn't show you guys my Watcher's Eye earlier. It says, if I can find where I hide it, I think it's right here. 14% increased energy shield recovery rate while affected by discipline. So that actually affects this other thing as well. So 14% more of that 10%. So it's actually a little bit higher than 10%. It's like whatever that math works out to be, 11 or something. I'm also leeching a ton. So ES leech cap 3,100 and ES leech per hit about 1,200, right? So lots of leech. I'm getting instant leech on the tree. So that's also great. Okay, that is really the character. There's going to be demos I'm going to show you in a minute here too, just killing some bosses and Valdos, Ubers, whatever stuff. I also, you know, in addition to what I showed you guys at the beginning, but I do want to talk about the upgrades because it's always fun to talk about what you could put, what's the moon or whatever. So the very best. So if I get 2 more levels, that would give me a bunch more power. In fact, I'll just tell you on POB right now because I have my POB open. Go to the tree. There are 2 points in the middle that I could take with those 2 points, and that would give me more energy shield, and my energy shield would go to over 16k. So that would be nice to have. Rally Cash Boots. If I had, right now I only have ES, but if I also had a level to Aura or AoE, I could put my Discipline, what do you call it? Like all of my auras. I have Discipline, Arctic Armor, Enlighten, and Tempest Shield or something like that, all linked together. And now I can move those out of my gloves into my boots and get +2 levels to my Discipline, and that would give me damage in ES. My Malachi's Loop, I could get, in addition to the ES, I could get a +2 to Curse, which would make my Assassin's Mark go higher, which would give me more damage. My Ephemeral Edge right now only has Fortify on hit with the attack speed enchant. If I got an additional attack speed implicit with the Fortify, like a double corrupt, then it would do even that much more damage. And I think I looked today and like the minimum one was like 150 divine, crazy expensive. Chests, my chest it's great, but it's not perfect. I think I can get like another flat, maybe 100 if it was like a perfect 30% quality, but I would never be able to afford that because the quality of 30 would be so expensive to begin with. And then gloves with higher ES, same idea. Like I would never need to do either of these things. It's just, we're talking about hypothetical, right? My tincture, if it had a higher quality, could be doing more damage. Precursor's Emblem, if I had ES per charge, would be pretty nuts. And you could actually get +1 power charge, and then the 3% ES per power charge, you can get it twice. So it could be 6%, and then you mirror it with Calandra's Touch. So it would be 12% more ES. That'd be really gnarly. Enlighten 4, if I really wanted to, I could buy it right now, but I don't want to. It would just give me more mana. I don't really need more mana. And then if I was kind of experimenting with trying to find a minion that could shock. So because I'm taking Leadership's Price, I'm not able to shock anymore. But if I was able to kind of trick a way into like having a minion shock for me, so to say, like what do they call those guys again? Like the puppet, the marionette, specter, like a specter or a minion or whatever it was, and they're shocking for me, then I could be shocking and it'd give me like 30% more damage. It's crazy how much more damage I could do. And then finally, if I could get a Flesh Flame for Unleashed Potential, that'd give me another power charge, and that would give me like, I think another 30% more damage as well. So I do have the Flame, but I don't have the Flesh, and one went up for sale again today for like 1 mirror. I have like 70 divine or something. I don't think I'm going to be playing enough to ever get a mirror, so because I'm kind of winding down here. So yeah, I think this is going to be the end of the build for me most likely, but I do think if you did all of these things, I could play with it in POB, and it'd take me a while to play with it, maybe an hour. I think you could squeeze out another 100k damage, so I do think it's possible to get up to the 350, 400k damage area with this build in POB. So that's it. I hope you guys liked the video. My next build I'm going to be working on in this league is going to be a discharge build. So I'm going to have a bunch of charges like this, but it's going to be discharging. So it'll be a wild speaker. I'm really looking forward to building it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'd love to hear your feedback. See you guys in the next one.
Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they're scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives. You create thoughts. Never waste time. You got one shot. You got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5. No mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way. What I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning.
Alright, we're going to do a 100% delirious feared map. See how it goes. The reward is an ivory tower, so this is a pretty cheap one. It was like 75C or something.
Say I go crazy when I'm mad, and now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. I'll fucking take smoke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently. Thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face just to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back.
Double flame blast.
Got a monster inside of me, you better watch out. If your enemies are road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me. And he gets cause real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score. Never getting bored, loves the blood and gore. Always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really listen until they feel it for the party. And if you start shit, you be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped. You be chewed up and discarded.
And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it.